Every breakthrough medical device starts with a vision to improve patients' lives. Design and development planning is the blueprint to bring that vision to life. Under FDA, QMSR, and ISO 13485, manufacturers must establish and maintain their plans or design and development plans that describe design activities and define all the way responsibilities for implementation. In this section, we'll go over the foundation of that plan. An effective plan must establish several core pillars. Clear scope is one of them. What is it that you are trying to design and develop? Define that product or medical device. A lot of times I put a sketch of that too, the earliest stage, because design and development plan is a living document. Having a sketch and then defining that, it helps me visualize because I'm an engineer. It helps me visualize and also it helps me explain the project to others. Also, describe who are the project stakeholders, which market you plan to serve, what intended use population are you planning on serving. This scope will help with regulatory approach, resource need, market size, processes or steps involved, and even testing requirements later on. The clearer the scope, the better it is. The second pillar is clear milestones. Define major phases or activities with milestones and deliverables in each phase from concept all the way to transfer. How many design reviews are we planning on doing? What success look like in each phase? Based on that, identify your major milestones. Your next pillar is your resource allocation. Form a cross-functional team from different functional areas. Assign specific tasks to qualified personnel. Start a responsibility matrix with task owners or subject matter experts in each functional area. Also define the advisors, mentors in each area. That matrix we'll talk about later more. Organizational interface is your next pillar. Map how engineering, quality, regulatory, and clinical teams will collaborate. Specify how often you will meet, which communication method you will use, and the expected outcome. Now here's the bonus. As you define your plan, define the scope, get everyone's buy-in in a preliminary meeting or meetings by discussing and involving others, generally cross-functional team. It's important that you have the buy-in early on. Your plan, by the way, is a living document. It must evolve as project evolves. As you have new data, as you have risk assessments that are being updated and design iterations occurring. So the project development, design and development plan needs to be revised and updated as the project evolves. Begin by defining the intended use and user needs. What problem does this device solve? Who are the operators and patients? What market to serve? Which population to serve with this device? Document this in your plan to anchor your engineering objectives early on. Again, the clearer the scope, the better off you would be later on. Task and timeline mapping is an important task or important activity. Break the project down into manageable work packages. Identify dependencies. For example, you cannot execute design verification until your design outputs are finalized and your prototypes are built. Define your circle of communication, your stakeholders, sponsor, communication method. Those all need to be laid out as part of your design and development plan. And the plan can always be updated because it's a living document, but you have a baseline. As you assign tasks and activities to team members, do not assign to a team, assign to certain individuals. Yes, you can do assign it to a number of people, but there has to be owner. I use a method called OMI. The owner, the person who is responsible for the task. And M could be the mentor, the advisor, a consultant. And the person who should be informed, there's the third person. Now, there are other methodologies also you can assign as responsible, accountable, consulted or consultant, and person who is informed, information only, RACI framework. Like you said, a lot of times I use my OMI framework. I personally like to call it owner, the person who is owning that activity. By having individual owner for each task, you ensure that the task is getting done. It will be done because there's the ownership to one person. There might be a number of people helping from the consultant point of view, from the support point of view, but there has to be ownership of each task. A lot of time, the projects are not getting completed. Tasks are not being finished because you assign it to a team, and then they're all depending on each other. That somebody will come, somebody will step forward, and somebody will get it done. But no, you want to have the timeline as such that there is an ownership for each task. Use ISO 14971, which is the risk management for medical devices. Your plan must outline how risk management activities sync with your design phases and design process overall. Risk mitigation drives your design requirements. Create a design FMEA early on, for example, and identify your top 3 to 5 risks for review. And you can expire those risks as they become no risk anymore. You manage them and then you expire them once you mitigated the risk. But always have 3 to 5 top risks identified throughout the process. And you expire them, you mitigate them and expire them as you go. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Sadar Mustafa. I've been involved in medical device product development, engineering, quality, regulatory, and operations for over a decade. From lead product development engineer to vice president of quality and regulatory, serving most countries in the world. And I'm known for transforming complex medical device challenges into innovative, sustainable solutions. I also teach and mentor an undergraduate engineering program, product development course, bridging the gap between theory and practice. My mission today is helping professionals become more effective engineers, quality professionals, and leaders, while helping organizations build better products and quality systems. Define within your design and development plan a high-level V&V plan, verification and validation plan. How do you plan on doing certain major activities within your project, such as do you need sterilization, do you need biocompatibility and performance, usability, that type of verification and validation activities. You want to package them or you want to high level discuss them within your within your design and development plan. The plan must also include formal design reviews and how frequently you plan on doing those design reviews. Are you planning on doing it in every phase, at the end of every phase as a gating mechanism? Or are you going to be doing only a few critical design reviews? This is a critical design review. This is a critical regulatory requirement that you perform design reviews. And this is also important that you have an expert, independent reviewer who can review it from a systems perspective, somebody who understands the overall system, where you started, where you are going, and in between from the review perspective. Also, you start with the end in mind. We say begin with end in mind. The plan must detail how the design will transition from R&D into production, ensuring the manufacturing line can consistently replicate the device specification. Include tooling and manufacturing subject matter experts early on, who should lead activities like design for manufacturing or design for manufacturability. On this channel, I share practical lessons from my own experience that help engineers and companies build safer products while making compliance easier. You will find more information in the description below, and I'll see you soon.